you have to make a change. I personally love Chick-fil-A. You know that I'm open. I love it because you walk in there and you know what you're getting every time. And you have nice people who greet you, and then you feel that way. Okay, you walk in and they're just the whole atmosphere is nice. They have a culture where they don't. You know, I never walked in there and saw an employee, you know, looking, you know, disheveled or being mean and said, I'm out of here. You know, I always walk in, I always get my number 2 and spicy chicken sandwich, you know, and I'm happy. I'm a happier person going into Chick-fil-A. If everybody else had that type of mentality with and uncompromising standards of work, I think the hospitality should be in a much better place than we are. But these are things that you need to, not saying you'll have to go work for Chick-fil-A, but you know, that's the mentality we should all have at work. You know, the attitude of being a servant mentality. Handshakes, as Ms. Lopez Flohr talked about earlier, having a good handshake shows that you're confident. Don't give a limp hand. There's nothing worse than a limp handshake. When you talk, you know, it's just not good. So making sure you make eye contact, you have a firm, but you know, you're not trying to squeeze your hand. I've had people just squeeze my hand. I think I have a pretty firm handshake, but it, you know, makes you want to cry. So just a nice firm handshake and sit, and when you greet, gentle squeeze, and then you pull back, okay? Now, some cultures are not big on handshaking, and I might know any cultures that don't like handshakes. There are some cultures that they will not extend their hand to, and that's okay too. So please keep that in mind. Networking is a very important function in the hospital or any other industry. That's where you go and you meet people and you develop relationships. If you just stay at work and you don't network, or you don't, what we talked about before with, with giving back to the community, you're going to stay in your own bubble and you're not going to grow. So it's easy to go into work every day, do what you do at work, and then leave. But you need to be able to network. If you ever want to move ahead and you want to looking at other options, going and looking for different networking events is huge. It's a tool for collaboration. It's a good way to meet people, get your name out there. And after you meet people, what do? That's it. Over the last 8 years, every time I meet somebody within 24 hours, I send them a LinkedIn request. It's great meeting you. I've done that over 8 years out of over 4,000 people. So it's something, it takes time, it takes effort, but a lot of time you sometimes spend on Facebook can be spent in the business world, getting to know people. And then networking is not necessarily all by yourself, but it's about seeing what other people's needs are. If you're talking to people and they're like, you know, if you know somebody, you know, if you're able to help fill somebody else's needs, maybe not you personally, but knowing somebody, that's what networking is all about. It's not just about you. All right, how would you say you are at going up and introducing yourself to somebody you don't know? All right, any of you raise your hand if you're uncomfortable with that. Why is that?
Store, like introduce yourself, and then find common ground.
Right. Any tips from anybody on how to go up to somebody you don't know? Hi, I'm Tim. It's nice to meet you. And you know, you have to have kind of outgoing personality. Now, some people don't have it. That's okay. But generally, go to networking events and talk to people, you meet people from other businesses. It's really important to have business cards with you, and hopefully it'll be a good thing. We're going to hopefully in the future get to as well as everyone has business cards that their students at Kenneth Wilson, so you can hand those out to people as well. It's a great touch. Whenever you introduce somebody networking, always introduce the lower ranking person to the higher ranking person. So it's introducing up. So if the president of the company is here, Billy, I'd like you to meet President Fry here. That's how you go about introducing people. Because it's big for you to be able to grow your network and have a strong network. it's not good to just know a bunch of people and call that a network. You have to be, it's something that you have to be active in. Appointments, either meeting, phone, or internet. It's really important when you're making appointments or that you understand time differences. You know, we have 4 different time zones in the United States and well beyond that outside, you know, throughout the rest of the world. So if you're making appointments, making sure that you understand the time differences and confirm that. Be kind to any receptionist or administrative assistant because they're the gatekeepers for managers and leaders. So making sure that you're nice to everybody on the phone, like what Ms. Flohr talked about earlier, making sure you're smiling on the phone. It's also big because people are watching you as you're talking on the phone, and if you're like rolling your eyes, and, you know, it's not a good look either. So when you make an appointment, state your name, purpose, desired date and time, and call if you're going to be late. Nothing infuriates myself or you know, and people more than if they're going out of their way to help introduce you to somebody, set an appointment, and you just no call, no show. So the same thing with here in class. You don't come into class, you don't come. You know, I consider I carry on, but why is the student not here? Why is the student, you know, walking out of the middle of my class or zoned out on the computer, stuff like that. So making sure you're able to, if you're late or have to cancel that, you call them. Telephone, internet, making sure, you know, making sure when you're talking on the phone, you're not doing it in front of a group of people. If you're in restaurants, things like that, you always walk out of the restaurant. If you have to take a cell phone call, not taking one right in the middle of class, not in public locations, you have some privacy, that gives you an opportunity to focus on the call. And any appointments that are face-to-face, like Ms. Flohr talked about earlier, getting there early, making sure you have the right location, be there 5 to 10 minutes earlier, but you don't want to be sitting there for a half hour. You want to be there like an hour early. Introduce yourself to whatever admin or whoever's working there so you build a good rapport with them. We're going to get into dining etiquette a lot more when we do the dining etiquette portion of the class, but have any of you ever you did that with IHG, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what did you think of that?
Well, I also did it with I took the serving line
Okay.
in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of difficult because you had to remember how to set the.
Right, we're gonna get into all of that. We'll talk about dining etiquette when we have the luncheon later on this term. But basically, remember that you are, whether it's a professional meeting or an interview over food, that you're not at home eating. You know, it's not like you're at home. You have to have professional dining etiquette, and we'll go through all of that when we talk in class. Now, another thing, a big thing, is RSVPing. If somebody ever wants you to RSVP for an event, what does that mean? It means you respond back whether you're going to go or not. People just want to make sure, you know, that you're going to be there. So one big thing about dining, or if you ever get like wedding invitations or invitations to events, it says RSVP, either reply back, I'm not going to make it, or I am. Okay. We'll talk about this more with dining etiquette. Like if you're out at a business function, alcohol is a big thing. People will be judging you from the moment you're, at all times with alcohol. If you sit there, not over consuming is the big thing. And only serving eating in moderation, talking with your mouth, with food in your mouth, and all that. It's just being in your best behavior. Other etiquette basics: having a pleasant attitude, saying please and thank you. That's simple as can be. Knocking before entering an office. I always, if I go into Dean Polycarthy's office, as an open door policy, I always knock. It's just a good time. You don't want to assume that you come to my office and I could be on a phone call at that point. There's a lot of things that factors involved. So always remember that. Put other people first and allow others to talk first. Nothing worse than talking to someone and if somebody's talking to you, you're just getting your response ready and you maybe cut them off while they're talking. One person talks, the other person talks. I think it's a civilized conversation. apologize if you make a mistake. We all make mistakes. You have to just own up to it and move on. Profanity. You don't want to use profanity at work. You don't want your employees to see you using profanity. You want to make sure that because if you do it, you're giving them tacit approval to do it themselves. Okay? Oh, well, Tim said this bad word. I guess I can do it too. So don't do that. And that way, you have a zero tolerance thing for people using profanity themselves. Avoid dominating conversation. Listen to people, and then respond. No one's ever been in trouble for listening too much, but talking too much can become an issue. So today we went over some basic things with etiquette. Between this and the interviewing skills that Ms. Lopez-Flohr did earlier, hopefully gives you a little more insight into what is proper workplace etiquette, and especially with dress as well. Anybody have any questions? Okay. I hope you have a great week, and make sure you do your Tiger Zone posting for both Marta Lopez-Flohr and for the Tiger, the Volunteer Odyssey. Okay.